Hey, this is Stu. Over a decade ago, I watched an old Donkey Kong show at my cousin's house that not many people know about. Fast forward to 2023, I would rediscover this show being part of a children's block on CBS called Saturday Supercade, which aired new episodes from 1983 to 1984. It featured iconic gaming mascots at the time, each having their own show. There's Donkey Kong, which I talked about before on my channel, Frogger, Pitfall, Q*bert, and to my surprise, Donkey Kong Jr. got his own show. The block ran for 2 seasons, with 7 shows in total. Frogger, Pitfall, and Jr. would sadly end, while Kangaroo and Space Ace would replace them for the 2nd season. Jr.'s run would only last for 13 episodes. A majority of them can be watched on YouTube. Just keep in mind of the lower quality. Only 1 episode is lost, being the Jungle Boy ploy. The other 2 episodes, The Ventriloquist Caper and The Great Seal Steal, are on YouTube, but only in the Galician dub. What's interesting for this dub is that Junior sounds like Walt's rendition of Mickey Mouse.
There she comes! You don't want to get thrown off, do you? Be quiet and I'll let you out.
The plot is pretty straightforward. Junior returns to the circus, only to find that his papa, being Donkey Kong, has escaped. This Fonzie-looking fellow named Bones comforts the little guy and offers to help. Junior shouts his iconic catchphrase, and the two embark on a road trip.
I got Donkey Kong, and now I'll get you too, Junior.
I'm Donkey Kong Jr., and that's my papa.
I find it interesting to have this take place parallel to the Donkey Kong show, instead of a sequel like in the arcade. I began wondering what the show would have looked like if it decided to follow the game, but I don't see this version of Mario being a threat to Junior at all. And to be fair, there's also so much you can pull from one game. When comparing Junior from the arcade to the show, you can see a lot of differences. For the arcade, his fur is much lighter, he wears a white leotard with a pink J on it. You can also see in the game that he walks on all 4s. He also has a heart-shaped snout. With how Junior walks in the show, I'm getting more chimp vibes from him. His fur is much darker. The J on his leotard is switched to red.
Spell red.
Red? L-S-T-E-R.
Original concept did have it blue. Now that I think about it, it might be inspired by the activity book. He's got 2 cowlicks on his head. He's got a huge singular tooth, separate eyes which give less emphasis on the brow, and he's got a button nose. I feel like this design was heavily inspired by this North American flyer. There's a few similarities such as the button nose, darker fur, cowlicks, and singular tooth. Junior was voiced by Frank Welker. You may know him best as Fred Jones. There's also Megatron, Nibbler, and Garfield.
I know where you live.
No, you don't. No. Oh my god. Oh. That's my house. I'm not even joking. That's my house!
I think he does a fine enough job. While he's trying to find his papa, he goes out of his way to help other people, such as teaching kids to stand up for themselves, and babysitting at an amusement park. The only issue I have is the catchphrase. You can tell this is just an attempt at Scrappy-Doo.
Wow, I haven't seen...
Look away, Daphne. Donkey Kong Jr. cereal is part of his complete breakfast. It's wild with fruit flavor.
The Scooby-Doo series first debuted on September 13th, 1969. The premise being teenagers and their talking dog going around and solving mysteries. After 10 years, Hanna-Barbera decided they need to change something in order to keep the audience entertained. In came Scooby's nephew, Scrappy-Doo.
Hi, I'm Scrappy-Doo.
He was inspired by Warner Brothers' Henry Hawk, who debuted on August 8th, 1942.
That's what I've been telling you, boy. I am a chicken.
Later that same day, numerous German would-be saboteurs would be executed in Washington, D.C. Look it up. Operation Ipastrius. The first season with him wasn't too bad. The gang solving mysteries, with Scrappy thrown in for his bits. But after that, Fred, Daphne, and Velma were phased out of the series. All 3 of their traits, traps, looking for clues, Daphne, would be implemented into Scrappy. Later on, there was the Scooby and Scrappy Puppy Hour, where Shaggy and Scooby would be phased out and introduce Yabba-Doo and Deputy Dusty. Growing up, I remember the reception of Scrappy-Doo being very negative. It didn't help that the live-action movie made him so unlikable, and even the villain at the end. However, with the success of Scrappy-Doo in the 80s, it's no wonder they decided to make a small mammal share traits with him. Then again, the company already knew how to do this.
Eustace. Scrap.
I got black, I got white, what you want?
Cartoon Network, the best place for cartoons.
Not for me! Not for me, man!
Junior's not alone. Remember that Fonzie guy? Well, that's our clumsy companion, Bones. Voiced by Bart Braverman, you may recognize him as Pepe from 20 Million Miles to Earth, Binzer on Vegas, and Pugsy from Fangface. This show was part of a segment from the Plastic Man comedy/adventure show. I just found this out. It had a live-action Plastic Man.
Let's get this show rolling.
I'd say the best way to describe Bones is from Murphy's Law. Quote, anything that can go wrong will go wrong. Every single episode, Bones finds a way to get himself in danger, captured, or ruin Junior's plans. None of this is cherry-picked, by the way. Bones is a liability. Bones is a good person at heart, but there's times where he deliberately ruins things. Like this scene. Junior hides inside of a truck. He tells Bones to knock on the door when the truck robbers are near. That way, he'll jump out and capture them. Bones immediately talks to himself about what could go wrong, decides to knock on the door for good luck, and then Junior captures him, blowing their cover. Or how about this? Bones is sneaking into a cabin in order to untie a scoutmaster. All he needs to do is move forward. He backs up and bumps into Freddy Fazbear. Instead of walking away from it, he thinks it's a rug and then kicks it. But surprise, Freddy wakes up and starts chasing him. I don't feel bad for him. I don't hate Bones. I just find it funny how much he gets into trouble. But Junior's always there to help him out, referring to one another as best buddies. You gotta remember, it was Bones who was there for him when Junior was at his lowest. He thought his father abandoned him, which he did. His actions are unforgiving, and he's murdered people. But Bones was willing to leave his entire life behind just to help this guy out. His job? Fired. Bills? Evicted. He's probably a wanted criminal for all we know. Which makes sense, because there's a few times where both of them commit assault and battery. If you ignore the crimes, I do think they have a good relationship.
Hey, Junior, we're entering Texas. That's the biggest state in the Union, you know?
If you watch the episodes in order, it sort of flows with the two making progress. They get a lead about seeing an ape somewhere. Sometimes it's a statue, or a different gorilla off-screen. Sometimes their bike breaks down and they have to earn money to fix it. Hence the babysitting job. There's always danger around every corner.
Good boy, King.
I gotta say a downside has to be the villain department. Their goals include kidnapping people for money, stealing things for money, or put zoo animals into slavery for money. It's just money. Here's a 7-hour video essay about capitalism. They all just blend in together with forgettable designs. I think the one that stands out is the burglar. Every villain has a flow to introduce them. It either pans away or zooms into the background. This is the only one that just hard cuts, and I feel like they could have done a better job. But it's all good because his partner is Freddy Fazbear. You wanna know how the episode ends? Junior ties the two up in chains underground. Cuts to the campsite. We don't see what happens to the burglar. We aren't told he went back to prison. He could still be trapped underground. And what's worse is they skinned Freddy. He's dead! Like the missing kids incident!
It's Donkey Kong Jr. Mario's captured Donkey Kong and Jr. has to rescue him.
I can help, Junior.
One obscure thing I like is the jingle at the end of the intro. Sounds like a slower version of the Stage Clear theme. I honestly think this is the only reference to the game. Unless you want to count him swinging into frame on a vine. At least in the first stage, you'll be using them a lot. One thing this show has is a lot more action. It's probably because Junior's so small, making it easier for the animators to draw him. He can backflip 30 feet into the air, rip open trucks like they're nothing, carry a giant boulder with people on it while swimming with his tiny legs. Oh, okay, come to land. This guy can summon a stand from JoJo, Beach Boy.
He's Bad Boy Bones, and I'm Monkey Wrench Willie. We're the toughest truck nappers in Texas.
Speaking of that, I can't help but think of the Highway Star arc when I see Junior on this bike. Who has tattoos of scissors on their forearms? Although, to be fair, I have a tattoo of Grimace on my leg.
We lost the trail! Well, we've got to find it, Bones, because Papa Donkey Kong is somewhere in this forest.
Speaking of Donkey Kong, did you know he had a brother? Meet Uncle Julius.
Uncle Julius!
Junior, I'm so glad it's you.
His friends are being kidnapped by a ghost gorilla and are put into slavery by the evil zookeeper.
It comes out at night to steal the zoo animals.
At night?
The ghost is actually a man in a costume. If you've seen Scooby-Doo, this is also a very common trend. So common that the final episode is just Scooby-Doo. Junior and Bones stays at his cousin Lucy Bell's place.
I'm so glad you could make it.
Junior, meet my cousin Lucy Bell.
They're both there to hear the reading of the will to Lucy Bones' great-grandfather, who gives his mansion to her. These two mysterious foes kidnap Lucy Bell.
How do you lose a woman?
They have tumbler noses. No, I don't like it.
Wait, I know how we can rescue her and get her to the reading on time.
So Bones goes under a new alias, Lucy Bones, in order to attend the reading.
Hi,
There is a back-and-forth struggle, saving Lucy Bell and making sure she's able to solve a block puzzle before midnight, while at the same time the kidnappers are trying to stop the gang.
If I don't do something, it's curtains for Lucy Bell. It looks like it's curtains for me.
In the end, Lucy Bell is able to solve the puzzle and inherits the mansion.
Yay! The mansion's yours!
You did it.
And that's the final episode. They never find Donkey Kong.
Hurry, Uncle Pip. Donkey Kong Jr. is coming up next.
I wonder where the series could have gone if it was picked up for another season. The duo did travel to other states. Heck, both shows did have an episode in Mexico, so there could have been one in Africa as well. Yes, I remember Donkey Kong swimming to Africa. I think about that every day. One thing I would have liked to see is a crossover with another arcade game. Stanley was the crossover character for Donkey Kong, but Junior came close with the episode Junior Meets Kid Dynamo. They couldn't have picked the guy from Burger Time instead. Kid Dynamo is just a made-up character. I don't care about him. I don't care about this blue Scooby-Doo guy. I just feel like it's missed potential. I get it, this is like 40 years ago, but eh.
Thanks for donating the gold to make the zoo healthy again.
After the series, Junior was mainly left for smaller roles, appearing as a playable character in Super Mario Kart and Mario Tennis 64. Yes, that is a heartwarming father and son bonding. He would be cut from Mario Kart Double Dash in favor of Diddy Kong, and left as a background character instead. After that, just very small references, like a costume in Mario Maker, or even a trophy in Super Smash Bros. Melee. His biggest comeback was in the mobile game Mario Kart Tour. Oh. It's weird, like what happened to him? Is this him? Why was he retconned out of a movie? I guess Nintendo's simply moved on. This isn't the first time they would change the continuity. The Koopalings, for example, used to be Bowser's children. Miyamoto was interviewed for Game Informer, where he stated, "Our current story is that the 7 Koopalings are not Bowser's children. Bowser's only child is Bowser Jr., and we do not know who the mother is." 3 years later, on September 10th, 2015, a video titled Mario Myths with Mr. Miyamoto was released. It was revealed that he was Bowser Jr.'s mom. I don't want to imagine Miyamoto pregnant.
What a big heart, a pretty spring day. Everything's coming up smooth.